We couldn't get rid of this easily last time. You think you'll test again for next season?
Honestly, I don't know. This could legitimately be the last you see of Eli McCaig in Full Metal.
I don't want this to be Eli's last match, though, so I'm going to call an audible. Could you please bring him back on screen real quick? I have a request for him. I know earlier this year, when you were still on that losing streak, you were thinking, like, even before this, you were going to retire. And you told me that if you did end up losing that particular match, you would want to face me in an exhibition. So, I have a request. What do you say, Eli? You versus me, exhibition, winner gets a spot in next season's roster.
I mean, you don't have to twist my arm. I mean, I'll do it.
What's up, metalheads, ladies and gentlemen of the world, and welcome to another exciting episode of Full Metal Geek.
It's me versus Eli McCaig. I had to talk him out of retirement to get him to do this exhibition, and I'm very happy he said yes.
And your winner, Eli McCaig.
Nico, I always had your back, even when everything was stacked against you.
So what's up, everybody? It's your boy, the Red Ranger, the commissioner of the Full Metal Geek League here on Full Metal Media. What is happening is this roster gauntlet. What it is for is, and basically giving non-competitors a chance to secure a spot on next year's roster without having to go through the testing process. And there it is. Someone's going to be very happy tonight. It is Nico Suave Regoli. He finally gets his wish. He gets a chance at a match in Full Metal Geek, but it is still in a tough spot. That's 6 matches.
I was always wanting you to win.
It is.
And your winner! 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 Yeah!
But when I needed you,
At number 5, we have Ryan Payne versus the number 12 ranked competitor of Eli McCaig.
you stabbed me in the back.
I feel like maybe Eli's time in the sun is coming to an end, so I feel like Ryan is on the upswing here and he'll get the victory.
But I was able to prove everyone wrong.
And your winner, Eli McCaig.
You all saw Eli McCaig, the person that everyone was voting against, the person that everyone thought was going to lose against Ryan Payne, beat Ryan Payne. Nico, you turned your back against me. You were wrong, like you've always been. So Nico, I hope that this has gotten to you. I hope that you can remember this night. And I hope you can remember yesterday's match as well. Thank you so much for giving me what I needed to succeed.
This is someone who has always had my back. Nico has always been in my corner, and then suddenly, this one time against Ryan, he decides to throw me under the bus. No, I ain't having that. I've had many people throw me on the bus before, and I'm not going to stand by that. Who knows, maybe next season, since Nico's finally on the roster, I can go up against Nico and shut him up. Because every single time I've gone up against Nico, I've always shut him up.
Well, Eli, I do actually have a little good news for you. You will be his first official match in Full Metal Geek next season.
Ah, that's glorious. And Nico, I hope you're watching. I'm looking right at my camera right now. You don't matter. You're never going to be on the same level as Thomas Scully, Tim Bracala, Nick Tuig, David, or any of them. You're never going to be on that level. So get ready for some hurt.
Eli, please shut up. Just shut up. Shut up, Eli. Shut up.
What is up, metalheads, and welcome back to Full Metal Geek Season 3. We finally made it. I'm so excited. And let's face it, we got a good one for you here today. We thought we'd start off this season right. I promised these guys we'd start off this season right with them. Yeah. This is a technical debut match for one of these guys. A very, very late in the game match for another. But there is some bad blood here that started way before all of this. We have Eli McCaig versus Nico Regoli. The grudge match. It's happening finally. Look, I'm not usually one to try to go for storylines here. I let things happen as they will. And without even realizing it, we had set this up so long ago, as you saw in the promo. This has been building. Nico has been dying to be in this league. Eli has been dying to get at Nico. So both their wants have now finally met in this. But I'm not really going to say much more about it. I'm going to go ahead and let these guys talk. So we're going to start with the man who has been here a very long time, who's had so much to say building up to this. That's going to be Mr. Eli McCaig. Eli, look, I promised you I would give you this after you literally messaged me right after the tournament breakdown video. You literally messaged me right after that, like, I want Nico if he gets in next season. And at that point, I spoiled it for you, like, hey, like, Nico's got like one more match to go. If he gets in, I promise you will be his first match. So what happens now?
It's very simple, RJ. I get my revenge. I make Nico realize that one mistake that he made about turning against me was the biggest mistake of his life. Do you realize how much he's been in my head ever since then? Sure, Thomas Scully was able to beat me because Nico was in my head. Sure, Nico has, in his words, living rent-free in my head. But you need to realize, RJ, that the only reason why he's been in my head is because I've been trying to make sure that I can destroy him when it comes to this match. And now we're here. So it's my time to destroy him. And he was supposed to have someone in his corner, but as of right now, he's not here. And you know why? Because that person that was supposed to be in his corner is a leech that only cares about certain people. And now that Coho has realized that Nico is probably not the best horse to bet on, he's not here. So, Nico, you can try to get your win today all you want, but just know that at the end of the day, it is going to be me winning this match. You had a great run in the gauntlet roster thing, but I have been here since the beginning. I've never had to go in a roster gauntlet. I'm able to test in every single year, except for this year because I beat Ryan Payne, who you thought was going to beat me. So, Nico, I hope you're ready to get destroyed because I'm very ready to destroy you.
Powerful words from Mr. Eli McCaig. We will see you in 1 second as we speak to your opponent, finally making his official debut here in Full Metal Geek. He is my partner over in Multiplex. He is Nico Regoli. Nico, it's been a long time coming.
Is he done?
He is.
Okay.
Well, he's done for now. When he comes back on camera, I can't do anything. But welcome officially to Full Metal Geek. I know you've been going at this for the past 2 seasons and just kind of barely missed the cut each time. And I'll be honest, you barely missed the cut each time. It wasn't like a no, Nico has no chance of getting in here. You barely missed the cut each time. But you were one of the lucky ones to get the gauntlet. You ran that gauntlet. You're here. But now, in your first official match, you have the guy that the one time you've played the official format of this league, he beat you. Whether it was because you made a mistake, whether it was because he was on fire, I mean, what happens now?
He barely beat me. It's because I forgot Superman impaled the truck with a tree and not a telephone pole. That's why he beat me. Listen, when we did that whole bracketology video, Eli had retired from Fandom Fight singles, and he had a gigantic losing record in this league. He looked like he was on his way out. What was I supposed to think? That's why I bet on Ryan Payne, because Ryan Payne looked like he was just in the zone at that time. Eli proved me wrong. Good for him. If you're wondering where Coho is, it's 11 a.m. He's probably at work right now or sleeping. I don't know. I've won matches without managers in my corner before. I can win another one right here. Listen, I have not been thinking about Eli at all, at least not directly. I've been thinking about how I ended 2020 with a lot of momentum. I won the roster gauntlet. Went through all 6 people I had to play. I qualified for a title shot in Ontel Geek, my first 1v1 movie trivia title shot in the 3.5 years I've been playing this. And now I'm thinking about how I had all that momentum and how just since 2021 has started, that momentum has just gone downhill. I had an opportunity last month to become the Combat Wrestling Trivia World Heavyweight Champion and the Ontel Geek Champion within the span of a few weeks, and I failed miserably at both. That has been weighing at my heart for a long time. This game has just been filling me with pain so far this year. And we're taping this on the week of WrestleMania, a week where I do not want to think about movies or trivia. I want to think about the GCW Collective. I want to think about NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. I want to think about Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks main eventing night 1 of WrestleMania on Saturday. And instead, I'm being forced to think about Lord of the Rings questions. I do not, I'm forced to think about stuff that's currently been filling me with nothing but pain and misery. And I want to take that pain and misery and make Eli know what it feels like right now. I'm not thinking about him, but I'm out for blood because of what this game has been doing to me lately.
All right, well, both of y'all out for blood. Both of y'all are going to get it because we're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Gentlemen, as always, we begin this match with round number 1. Round number 1 works like this. Each of you will receive 10 questions from throughout the world of Geek. Every correct answer will get you a point. You have 15 seconds to write down your answer. Once time is up, I will call on you and you will vocalize and reveal your answer. If either or both of you go perfect in this round, there is a bonus question available. Keep in mind for the entirety of this match, you have 3 repeats and 1 challenge available to you. With that being said, Eli, are you ready?
Of course I am.
Nico, are you ready?
You know, one more thing. Eli, I'm going to raise the stakes of this. You win, you get a spot in the 6-way main event at Summer for Thon.
Whatever that is, but sure.
It's the SummerSlam equivalent of Trivia for Thon.
Sure, you can keep on advertising whatever you have, and I'll win this match.
Talk like a normal person. RJ, begin the match.
Whatever that is, you're on. Title of your sex tape. Let's go ahead and get this match started. Round number 1, question number 1, gentlemen. This is going to come from the category of the Wizarding World. What means of transportation did Harry, the Weasleys, and the Diggories use to get to the Quidditch World Cup in Goblet of Fire? You could cut the tension in this room with a needle.
How specific?
There is an answer.
Okay.
I'm going to start pulling a Tim. There's an answer. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pins down. Eli, we start with you.
I said flu powder.
And Nico?
Portkey?
Portkey is the correct answer.
Wasn't sure if you wanted the specific type of portkey.
Oh, just needed a portkey. Your second question, gentlemen, is going to come in the new category of graphic novel movies. What graphic novel adaptation features characters named Roxy Richer, Matthew Patel, and Julie Powers? One of the new categories we introduced this season. Not sure if this is actually a new film we added. We'll see if these guys can figure that out in the time they have left. And that time would be 5, 4, 3, 2,
Hands up, Eli.
1. Pens down. Nico, I will tell you once again, don't run my show. Nico, what's your answer?
I think this is wrong, but it's the only one I could remember. Someone with the name Roxy in it. Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
And Eli?
I said Powers.
Scott Pilgrim versus the World is correct.
Oh, yay.
Your next question, gentlemen, another new category, comic book movies. These are movies that just do not fall under DC, Marvel, World of DC, or MCU, but are comic books. Your question, in Green Hornet, who plays Lenore Case, the love interest of both Reed and Kato?
This movie's not great.
And I will need answers in 5, 4,
You had nothing
3,
in terms of banter for
2,
this.
1. No, sorry, I'm still checking over homework as I do this. Sorry, this is what happens when I host by myself. All right, Eli, your answer.
Cameron Diaz.
And Nico.
Cameron Diaz.
Both correct. Eli now on the board. As we get into your fourth question, gentlemen, this is going to be in the category of Star Trek. Star Trek. What is inside the 72 torpedoes aboard the Enterprise in Star Trek Into Darkness? And Eli, I do need you to keep your hands as visible as possible, even when you are writing down your answer.
Try backing up a little.
And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Nico.
Khan's crewmates.
And Eli.
I said the frozen colony members of Khan's people. I don't know.
Both
if
are
that's-
acceptable answers.
I can't really back up since the cord to my headphones are only so far.
Gotcha. Like I said, just do the best to keep them in view at all times. All right, gentlemen, we reached the halfway point. This is question number 5. This is going to come in the category of Star Wars. Star Wars. Who breaks the Wayfinder from the ruins of the Death Star in Rise of Skywalker? Wayfinder. How original. Pretty sure I've heard that in a video game or two. Nico, not a word. Not a word. Not a word.
Word.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Eli.
Ray?
Nico.
Ray.
Both are incorrect. Actually looking for Kylo Ren.
I'm okay with this. I hate that movie.
All right, gentlemen, we move on to your next question. This question number 6 comes in the category of Middle Earth. What was Gollum's name before he was corrupted by the Ring of Power?
I don't think we need a countdown.
I'm giving it to you anyways. That's how I roll here. Once again, don't tell me how to run my show. I'm going to start taking points away from you, Nico.
It's morning.
You keep
and it's
pushing
a
your
nice
luck, I'm
day.
going to take wins away from your record. I can do that.
And
See
they
my
call
mom
him,
walking in the
5,
background.
4, 3,
and they call me the
2,
hero.
1. I'm not a heel. I'm just tired. Nico.
Smeagol.
And Eli.
Smeagol.
Both correct.
And I wasn't talking about you, RJ.
Sorry for the yawn. I'm really tired. I apologize. Your next question, gentlemen, is going to come in the category of Marvel. This is Marvel outside of the MCU. What Oscar-nominated actor appears as a supervillain called Black Death in Kick-Ass 2? I will admit,
I did not know this until I read this question. I love when Robert gives me bits of information that I have no idea actually exist. By the way, new season, still have Robert behind the scenes, doing the thing, writing the questions. I love him and I always appreciate him. I'm taking the first match of the year to tell him that every time. Love you, Robert. I'm still going to say Pent, but I love you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Start with Eli.
I know this is wrong. William Hurt.
And Nico.
Christoph Waltz?
Both incorrect. We are looking for Daniel Kaluuya.
Huh.
Daniel
Oh,
Kaluuya
yeah.
is the fighter that he's fighting at the beginning when he's trying to learn how to fight by himself. And then he's like, you know what my superpower is? I'm rich. Hey, you want to work for me? And the dude's like, yeah.
You
We're gonna
mean
call
when
you
he's
Black
training
Death.
with Chuck Liddell?
Yeah, when Chuck Liddell's training him. Daniel Kaluuya is actually the fighter he's fighting. All right, gentlemen, this is question number 8. This is going to come in the category of Worlds of DC. And since y'all asked about it earlier this week, what was Diana's wish in Wonder Woman 84? Now eligible in all categories. Well, all the categories that it fits in. So basically this in quotes. Since we got rid of mixed bag, it's just this in quotes. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Nico.
Thank God this is not a quotes question. To have Steve Trevor back.
Eli.
To have Steve back.
Both correct. All right, gentlemen, your penultimate question comes in our last new category, superhero movies. These are movies that just don't fall into graphic novel or comic books, but we have decided should still count as geek movies. And your question, who directed 2008's Hancock? Directors and composers may be gone, but we can still ask the questions. Hence why we got rid of it as its own category. It's much more fun to do this to y'all. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens down. Eli.
Definitely wrong, John Hancock.
And Nico.
When in doubt, go with Matthew Vaughn.
Both incorrect. We're looking for Peter Berg. Peter Berg.
Oh.
All right. No perfect rounds here, so we come to your final question, gentlemen. Question number 10. This is the category of the MCU. After Yondu's death in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, who contacted the other Ravengers to come to Yondu's funeral? This scene still gets me every time. It's good stuff. I love fireworks. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nico.
Stakar?
And Eli.
Rocket?
Rocket is the correct answer.
Overthought it. Damn it.
All right. So with that, after round 1, Eli was able to pull within 1 point, but it is still Nico's lead, 6-5 as we get into round number 2. Gentlemen, round number 2 works like this. We have a wheel available for y'all. This wheel has 10 slices on it, 8 categories, and hero and villains pick. You will each get a spin at the wheel. Whatever you land on, you will receive 5 questions from, each worth 2 points. If you're not sure of the answer, you can't go to multiple choice. However, it takes the value down to 1. Keep in mind for this round, you do have a respin available to you unless you land on villain's pick. And there is stealing in this round. So, Nico, since you are in the lead, I will reveal the wheel to both of y'all. Then you can decide whether you would like to go first or defer to your opponent. And the wheel is coming. Here it is.
Thank you to Tim Berkala for teaching me how to label these things so I don't bring up the wrong wheel every time. Gentlemen, your categories for this morning are quotes, MCU, Star Wars, Middle Earth, Wizarding World, Worlds of DC, Marvel, and Star Trek. So, Nico, after hearing all the available categories, would you like to spin first or defer to your opponent?
There's some things I want off of there, so I'm going to let him spin first.
All right. Eli, this will be your spin. And you're really going to wish you didn't do that because it's Hero's Pick. So, Eli, do you need a reminder of the categories or do you know which category you would like to take?
I would like a reminder, please.
No problem. Once again, the categories for today are quotes, MCU, Star Wars, Middle Earth, Wizarding World, Worlds of DC, Marvel, and Star Trek.
I'll go Worlds of DC.
Worlds of DC it is. And remember, gentlemen, both of you keep your hands visible at all times during this round. Eli, are you ready?
Yep.
All right, your first question. What is the name of Max Lord's son in Wonder Woman 84?
Alistair.
That is correct for 2 points and the lead.
Literally going over that in my head right before the match.
Good to know. Your next question. When Harley and Canary talk at the bar in Birds of Prey, what word does Harley ask Canary how to spell?
Multiple choice, please.
Your multiple choice options are A, eradicate, B, chemical, C, decapitate, sorry about that, or D, mercenary.
Mercenary.
That's correct for 1 point. Your next question. In Shazam, what did Billy want to win at the carnival game before he lost his mom?
He wanted to win the stuffed tiger.
That is correct for 2 points. Your next question. Which of Steve's friends sings in a bar after they capture the town of Veld in Wonder Woman?
Charlie.
Damn it.
That's correct for another 2 points. And your final question. In Suicide Squad, Captain Boomerang gets stabbed by an enemy. What stops the knife from hurting him?
His pink unicorn.
That is unfortunately incorrect. Nico, a chance for a 2-point steal. And 5.
A wad
4.
of cash that he stole?
That is correct for a big 2 points. All right, with that last steal, Eli did do good on all the questions, got his score up to 12, but Nico is now 8 as we get into his spin. So we bring back up the wheel. Worlds of DC, the only category not available as we get into Nico's spin. And it lands on Middle Earth. Nico, would you like to keep that or use your respin?
We're going to use the respin.
All right. Whatever it lands on this time, you will be taking, unless, of course, it's Worlds of DC. And it almost was, but it's actually going to be Marvel. So Marvel will be your category. Let's go down to it. All right. Nico, are you ready?
We'll see.
All right. Your first question. In Big Hero 6, who voices Cass, the aunt and guardian of Hiro and Tadashi?
Maya Rudolph.
That's correct for 2 points. All right, Nico, your second question. At the outset of The Wolverine, Logan finds a bear who has been injured by what item?
A poison-tipped arrow.
That is correct for 2 points and the tie. All right, in order to take the lead, your next question. Before leaving in the X-Jet at the start of Deadpool, Colossus tells Negasonic Teenage Warhead that what builds character?
Just to be on the safe side. Multiple choice.
Your multiple choice answers are A, X-Man dying, B, house blowing up, C, eating breakfast, or D, Deadpool insults.
It's one of the two.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Repeat the question and the options.
No problem. That is your first repeat. Before leaving in the X-Jet at the start of Deadpool, Colossus tells Negasonic Teenage Warhead that what Bill's character? Is it A, X-Man dying, B, house blowing up, C, eating breakfast, or D, Deadpool insults?
I'm torn between two of them because I know he says one or the other.
5, 4.
Eating
3.
breakfast.
Eli, chance for a 1-point steal. Your options once again are A, X-Man dying, B, house blowing up, C, eating breakfast, or D, Deadpool insults.
Is it B?
It is.
B is in Bravo.
Yes.
That is correct for the 1-point steal to take back the lead.
I couldn't remember who he said it to. So I was like, when did this happen? Shit.
All right, Nico, your fourth question in Marvel. In Daredevil, where does Matt's father say he is working when he was really working for a mob boss?
Oh, multiple choice.
Your multiple choice options are A, the factory, B, the school, C, the docks, or D, the gas station.
I want to say the docks.
That's correct for 1 point. Reties up the game. And Nico, your last chance to take the lead as we finish up round 2. Your final question. In 2015's Fantastic Four, what is the first name of the scientist who is Sue and Johnny's father?
Franklin.
That is correct for 2 points. All right, so after round number 2, it is now a 2-point game, still very close. Eli's 13 to Nico's 15 as we get into round number 3. Round number 3 works like this, gentlemen. We have another wheel for you. This wheel now only has 6 categories on it with only 3 questions, a 2-pointer, a 3-pointer, and a 5-pointer. You will each spin the wheel 3 times to get a question of that point value, and if you answer it correctly, you will receive those points. Keep in mind, you are awarded 1 respin, but only 1 for this entire round. You respin on your 3, you cannot respin on the 5. Any category is eligible to be asked more than once as long as it is in a different point value. So we will start with the person who is down and wait until they take the lead. Tying does not switch it over to your competitor. You must take the lead. So, Eli, we will be starting with you in this round. Gentlemen, the categories on your round 3 wheel for this match are as followed. They will be Star Wars, Marvel, Worlds of DC, Star Trek, MCU, and DC. So, Eli, this will be your 2-pointer spin. And it lands in Star Trek. Would you like to keep that or use your respin?
I'm going to keep it.
All right, keeping the Star Trek for 2 points. All right. And keep in mind, Eli, you still have all your repeats and your challenges left to you. Your 2-pointer question to tie the game. U.S. state does the first Earth-based scene of Star Trek 09 take place in?
I don't know why, but this is the only state popping in my head. Missouri?
That is unfortunately incorrect. We were looking for Kirk's home state of Iowa. Iowa. All right, so we stay with Eli. We will bring back up the wheel for you. 1 second. Why did that go away? Nope. Come back. There you are. All right. So, Eli, this will be your 3-pointer spin. All categories are once again eligible. And this time it lands on Marvel, non-MCU Marvel. Would you like to keep that or use your respin?
I would like to keep it, please.
All right. All right. For 3 points and to take the lead, category of Marvel. In X-Men The Last Stand, when attempting to rescue Mystique from imprisonment, Magneto and Pyro also released 2 other mutants. Name one of the 2 others, and we will take either their mutant code name or their real name.
Juggernaut.
That is correct for 3 points and the lead. So we will now go over to Nico for his first spin. The wheel is coming back up. And Nico, your spin is away. The only ineligible category is Star Trek. And that's what it lands on, so we're spinning again. Here we go. That only happens like every 2 days. And it is the MCU. Would you like to keep that for 2 points or use your respin?
I will be keeping that, please.
All right. All right, Nico, your 2-pointer to retake the lead. The category of MCU. What missile system was Tony testing in Afghanistan at the beginning of Iron Man?
How appropriate that on WrestleMania week, it is Jericho.
That is correct for 2 points and the lead. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come down to this. It is back to Eli. He has his 5-pointer left. If he hits it, he will stay in the match and basically force Nico to answer his 5-pointer as well. We're still going to give him his 3, but he's going to have to answer his 5. If he misses, Nico will win the match. So we bring back up the wheel one more time for Mr. McCaig. Eli, you do still have your respin available. Your 5-point spin is away. And it lands on Star Trek once again. Would you like to keep that or use the respin?
Respin.
All right. We are respinning. Whatever it lands on this time, you will be answering from. That's going to be the other side of the spectrum with DC. DC outside of the DCEU. And once again, Eli, you do still have all repeats available. Are you ready for your 5-pointer?
I am.
All right. Your question. What rare disease did Mr. Freeze's wife, Nora, contract that causes Freeze to put her in cryogenic sleep in Batman and Robin?
McGregor syndrome.
Damn it.
That is correct for a huge 5 points and keeps Eli in the game. Wow. Didn't even hesitate. I love it when people do that on our
I was,
podcast.
as you were reading the question, I was like, Lou Gehrig's, no. And I was just going through them all.
Well, very well done. So now it is all on Nico. Nico, like I said, you're going to have to hit your 5, but we will go to your 3 first anyways, because that's how we do things here. So we bring back up, we bring back up the wheel. This is going to be for your 3-point spin. Marvel is the only ineligible category to you.
Speak of the devil.
Yep, does it again.
We'll stop giving him the categories I already had.
All right. Well, it doesn't feel like it because it also gave him DC, but for 3 points. So, Nico, would you like to keep that or use your respin?
I mean, you said I'm answering the 5-pointer either way, so I'm going to save that respin for later on. We're going to keep this one.
No problem. All right. All right, Nico. For 3 points to come within 1 of Eli. Your question. How does Lois discover that Clark is Superman in Superman 2? And of course, we always mean the theatrical cut. 5, 4.
He takes off his
3.
glasses.
That is unfortunately incorrect. His hand isn't burned when he falls into a fire. That's what we were looking for.
Oh, well.
All right. So it will come down to the 5-pointers today. We bring back up the wheel one more time. Nico, this is going to be for 5-pointers. DC is the only category not available, and you do still have your respin as the spin is away. And for you, it also lands on Star Trek, so I'm guessing you're going to respin. If you want it, you want it. I just thought you were going to.
I'm not as afraid of it as I once was, but for the 5-pointer, I need to play it safe. So we're spinning again.
All right, spin it again. Nobody's wanting Star Trek 5-pointers today. Here we go. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be the MCU.
Come on.
All right. And Nico, you still have 2 repeats left to you. Are you ready for the 5-pointer?
We're about to find out.
All right, your question. In Spider-Man Homecoming, what is the name of the protocol in Peter's suit that records everything he sees?
I might actually blow this one.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Repeat, please.
Second repeat. In Spider-Man Homecoming, what is the name of the protocol in Peter's suit that records everything he sees?
Is it the babysitter protocol?
And your winner, Eli McCaig. So close is the baby monitor protocol. Baby monitor protocol. What a tight match coming down to the end. Final score 21-17. Let's go ahead and talk to these guys real quick. We're going to start with our unfortunate loser today, Nico. Dude, so close. One word off. Just, it's like I said, man, like I don't know many people who would even have come close to knowing that there was even baby in the name. So don't feel bad about missing that one. But, you know, unfortunately, it's first match. It was a loss. Like I said, the 2 wins you get from the gauntlet still at least keep you in a positive light. But, you know, for right now, but you're here. So how does that at least feel? It was your first official match, and you did really well. You had the lead most of the match.
Yeah, the positive record keeps me here, but for how long? That's why I wanted to win. So, like, I could guarantee that I would stay longer because I don't want to have to go back to testing because every time it just hasn't gone my way. And I was winning the whole damn time. And fuck. I was in the lead the entirety of the match. And then I just get a bad 5. Like, isn't this how his match with Ryan went? Wasn't Ryan leading pretty much the entirety of the match, and then Eli
actually they were tied most of the match. They were very close. They both got a perfect round 1 with the bonus question.
But
and then Ryan took a slight lead.
You see my point though. Like the 5-pointer changed the entirety of the game. And
that's what 5-pointers are meant to do.
Literally just 3 syllables off of the correct answer. Fuck. I don't know, man. I don't know what you want me to say. Like I've been on a losing streak lately, and I don't like the way it feels. Like, especially when I'm playing my heart out, and I'm training harder than I ever have before, and yet somehow the results just aren't matching it, and it's annoying. And like you said, this is going to be your last year as a player. I don't think I'm ever going to officially retire, but I feel like this might be the last year where I can like devote all of my time to this because like I'm getting ready to get the second shot. I'm getting ready to go back out into the world and start pursuing my dreams of being a sports entertainer the same way you're going and pursuing your dreams of being an actor. And like that's going to take up some time, time that I won't have to watch movies as much as I normally would. So like I'm not good with time management. I don't know how well I'll be able to balance this. So I'm kind of seeing this year as like the last year I have to make a true tried and true run at a title. And I've had those opportunities and I keep floundering them. And like I don't want to fail when I've come this far to show that I have the potential to be something great in this. And you get where I'm coming from. I don't know if the words are matching what I'm trying to say. But basically, I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself to do well this year because I don't know if I'm going to be able to put in the same amount of efforts moving forward in 2022 and so on.
No, I completely understand, man. I mean, that's like you said, that's kind of why I'm kind of stepping away, at least as a competitor after this season. So I 100% understand. But you know what, man? Like I said, as long as you can come back from this and not let it get to you, there's at least a shot at the tournament. And tournament means another chance to stay in. So don't let it eat you up like that. It's your first match, man. It's your first official match playing this 3-round format. It's like what I told you in the Gauntlet. The Gauntlet, you played 3 rounds, but you played 3 quick rounds. It's a different beast when it's the long game. But you got your first taste of it. You know what needs to be done. Go lick your wounds. Watch WrestleMania and get happy for a little bit. Get back to studying. Come back for whoever I put you up against afterwards. And do your thing. That's all you got to do.
Please let it be someone be easy.
I have no idea what's going to happen after this. I'm not going to lie. It's easier for me to tell the people who win who they're going to play next than the people who lose. It's the belly of the beast.
Well, shit. Okay. Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair better be a really good match.
I hope so as well. Well, Nico, like I said, good job today. Don't hold your head down. We'll see you next time, okay? All right, and now we will speak to our winner today, Mr. McCaig.
Yes, RJ.
How does it feel? I know you want to say it, so just go for it.
It feels miraculous. Sure, he was leading at the end of round 1 and round 2, but we all know it comes down to round 3. And I just proved I knew a little bit more in round 3. And when it came to his last question, I had 2 things in mind of what the answer could be. My 2 thoughts were training wheels or baby monitor. So I actually had an idea on what the answer could be. And so looking back, I think, maybe I should have gone a little bit softer in round 2. Maybe I should have though it was Heroes Pick, maybe I should have chose a harder category, but for me, but ultimately I wanted to win. I wanted to defeat Nico. And I was doing the math in my head. I'm finally at 4 victories. Not that it means anything, but just knowing that I'm finally having more than 1 or more than 2 or more than 3, having 4 feels nice to me right now.
No, absolutely. I can completely understand that. Once you reach a certain number, it just starts to feel good. But speaking of which, like I said, there is already plans for what's going to happen next. And it's funny that you brought him up earlier because your next match is going to be against Sandy the Sandman Robinson. How are you feeling about that rematch?
RJ, this season for me is all about trying to get revenge on people that have slighted me. Nico was just stop number 1. Sandy is stop number 2. When I beat Sandy, for all the times he has beaten me, for all of that, the moment I beat Sandy and I get my 5th win, in my head, I know for a fact that everything is going my way. Because my goal this season, though it didn't seem like it in round number 1 with how many I missed, my goal this season is to finally fight for the Full Metal Geek Championship, a title that I have never fought for. I have fought for Fandom Singles. I have fought for Fandom TV, but I want the Full Metal Geek title. And I think this season, with this new outlook on life, people are finally realizing that it's my time to shine.
Well, you're definitely certainly on your way as of right now. We'll see what happens after whatever happens with Sandy. But it is always a pleasure to see you at your best. You were at your best today. I'm sure you'll be at your best in the future. Congratulations again, sir. We will see you next time.
Thank you, RJ.
All right, that does it for the first episode of Full Metal Geek Season 3. Make sure you do all the nice things, like, subscribe, comment, do all the nice things you're supposed to do, and join us next week for another match. I kind of know what they are now, but like I say, I don't like to put it out there because then if something goes wrong, then I lied in the video and it's out there, it's on YouTube. So for everyone who is here today, for Nico, for Eli, I've been your host, the Red Ranger, RJ, Rene Villarreal Jr., all the R's. We will see you guys next time here at Full Metal Geek.